Vanakkam, good evening, and happy Independence Day to all of you. Here we are yet again on a Saturday evening, and more than just this being a simple Saturday, this is a significant milestone. We all get together to sort of celebrate the Independence Day of this great nation. We all sort of share this, are able to share this independence and enjoy this freedom also because of this, because of our Jawans and our soldiers ensuring that we can have this, enjoy this freedom for our lives. The way they sort of dedicated their lives towards, saving the borders and ensuring that you and I can talk like this on a Saturday evening. A lot of that credit goes to our armed forces. So today, actually this evening, we are extremely honored, privileged to have with us a very senior army officer, somebody you all will love to listen to, and a person with so much energy, passion to give back. It's my honor to introduce to you, all of you today, the special guest for the Independence Day edition of Alert Town Hall, rightly taglined "Where Life Matters." My honor to introduce Lieutenant General Bobby Mathews. He's a PVSM Param Vishishta Seva Medal, AVSM Ati Vishishta Seva Medal, VSM Vishishta Seva Medal, and he is also the Joint Director of Hindustan International Schools. A little more about our special guest today. Lieutenant General Bobby Mathews belongs to a family of army officers. He was selected for the NDA, National Defense Academy, in the year 1975 and was commissioned into the Indian Army in 1978. Widely traveled and having vast experience, operation experience, the general is also a scholar soldier with a MPhil and MSc degree from the Madras University. He has had the privilege of serving on all top training institutions of the Indian Army. He was sub-area commander in Mumbai during the Mumbai Terror Attacks in 2008. He has had the privilege of commanding India's only desert corps in the Western sector. He was Commandant OTA, Officers Training Academy, something we all are proud of in our neighborhood in Chennai, from where he retired in the year 2017. He is responsible for creation of the Jaisalmer War Museum and the Lonjewala Yudh Sthal, which are today major tourist attractions. He is presently looking after the chain of Hindustan International Schools in Chennai. So it is my proud privilege and honor to have amidst us Lieutenant General Bobby Mathews. Sir, welcome to this program. Very honored for you to be gracing the occasion here this evening, sharing your time with all of us on this wonderful Independence Day evening.
Thank you, Rajesh. The pleasure is entirely mine. It is such an honor and privilege to be part of this program with such wonderful, noble views and ideals. And thank you very much for the warm words of welcome. And you said so many kind things about me. But most important and most close to my heart is the fact that I've had the privilege of serving in the finest army in the world. Privilege of serving with the finest soldiers in the world, who ask for nothing and yet at the drop of the hat are willing to give their lives for this great country. It's a unique privilege, and if I had 100 lives, I would ask the Lord Almighty to put me through 100 times through the same journey. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Very warm welcome to all our participants today. I sincerely hope I will be able to convey a few of my thoughts and share with you certain experiences which may not hold you in good stead in the days ahead. Thank you very much, Rajesh.
Thank you, sir. It's totally our honor, and I'm very sure, dear viewers, volunteers, people who are logging in, it is not always that we probably able to sit across the table and talk to an eminent officer such as Lieutenant General Bobby Mathews. Today is the chance. So please pour in your thoughts as well as you watch us converse, through the Facebook page. General Bobby Mathews, like how you rightly said, I from the profile that I read out, I understand that you are from a family of army officers, but nevertheless, the individual decision, the choice of joining the army is at the end of the day individuals. It is yours. So I am always intrigued. Whenever I meet an army officer, I would like to understand, like that decision that you have made, that this life I am going to be dedicating into joining the Indian Army. Can you walk us through that phase that led you also as an individual, not primarily because of your family, but you taking that call to join the Indian Army?
Rajesh, actually, I'll have to use some military terminology. As we go higher in the ranks in the army, we are taught terminology shaping the battlefield.
Okay.
That is, putting the battlefield in a manner which will give us maximum dividends and put the enemy to greatest disadvantage. So to that extent, most of my decision of joining the army was a shaped decision, shaped by circumstances, shaped by the people I met, shaped by my wonderful father who taught me so much. And from a very young age, I've been absolutely, whenever I see anything green, it's something which just makes my hair stand. I used to see smart NDA cadets coming on leave. I saw them walking around. In fact, if I may use the word, strutting around with pride and swagger. And I never had any other dream. It was just to put on uniform. And there was another attached agenda to this. I wanted to join the National Defense Academy. I've always been an avid reader. My father was very particular that all his children develop the art of reading, because he said that is the biggest knowledge turbo instrument which can enhance your vision to life. So the National Defense Academy is such a fantastic institution. The more you see, the more you read about it, it's a dream to be part of it. And then a bigger dream to pass out. So for me, it was a whole lot of factors, my own desires, shaped, of course, by my environment, and my desire to serve this great country. And there's no better way than serving India than being a soldier of the Indian Army. I wonder whether I've been able to explain my feelings appropriately.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. Many a times we are not privy to what goes on into somebody's mind when they actually make the call. And I'm very sure, as you said, it is also about the circumstances, the people whom you have met and all that. But then still, sir, somebody who looks up to every single person joining the army to make that call, sir, definitely a salute from all of us, who probably are not that privileged to be serving the nation in that fashion. Sir, I also in your profile read about you as a scholar soldier, and you've done your MPhil, MSc, and also today, after you have come out of the army, you have engaged yourself in academics. So sort of tells me about how much learning is a part of your journey and your life. So can you sort of, what motivates you to keep yourself aligned with academic learning, and also even after service you are into this space of actually meeting day in and day out students and ensuring that you are inspiring them?
Rajesh, I really don't know about the scholar bit. Soldier, definitely I am. And if it's all somebody has termed me as a scholar, it's just because of my tremendous urge to keep reading. I just like reading anything, because this is one aspect as I interact with the younger people and give various reasons I don't have time, which I find very amusing, because the windows to life lie in reading, and it's such a cheap instrument. Knowledge is available, books are available. You just need to open those pages, and every page you read just indicates how little you know. It's like getting into an infinite well. And the more I read, the more I come to know how little I know. And it's something amazing, actually. This is, for one, what my father taught me, and which I can be eternally grateful to him. And in my younger days, we had no, there wasn't even television. So it was just the newspaper. And as we grew a little older, Doordarshan came along. You'd be surprised. I would listen to a program from Krishi Darshan onwards. And then I realized I know so much about agriculture, which is the phosphate which has to be used for which type of soil. So my advice to everybody, there is no age. And reading is such an infectious thing. The more you read, the more you love it. The more you love it, the more you'll read. And it's the infinite cycle of learning.
Beautiful, sir. So well said. As we speak, I'm also looking into people who are watching us as we speak, sir. I'm going to wish them all, and a lot of wishes as well coming your way. Ms. Sangeeta Anup, Mr. Satyanarayan Ramamurthy, Ms. Sureka, Mr. Ravi Varanasi, Hina Fatima, Mr. Rajkumar, Ms. Kala Balasundaram, the founder at Alert. Welcome all of you to this wonderful program as we get along speaking to Lieutenant General Bobby Mathews. A wonderful next 50 minutes is ahead of us. And a wish from Ms. Kala, pleasure and honor having you with us, sir. Welcome to Alert's Town Hall.
Thank you, Kala Madam. It was a pleasure talking to you in the morning. To Mike Muralidharan also. Happy Independence Day, and may our country get stronger every year.
Right, sir. I have one more, a couple of more. I wanted to also talk to you, also about the soldier side of you. In this, I see that behind this wonderful gentleman that I see, the grit of a soldier. That's something which only if you say we would know what exactly goes into the mind of a soldier. Because, sir, when a soldier walks in or gets on into doing an operation or walks into taking charge of situations, he or she knows that he is not walking in to take charge for protecting this country to be a runner-up. There is no runner-up in this profession or a game that you are into, but that comes from a totally different metal that is required in the minds of a soldier. So can you give us a glimpse of what it is, what does the soldier's mind really look like?
Rajesh, you asked me a very, very difficult question because to a common man this question won't amount to much. But if I tell you, and I'm saying this with humility and with no sense of modesty, I'm trying to. In the Indian Army, the soldier shapes his officer. I'm a young 20-year-old lieutenant when I joined. Every time I interacted with them, every time I got to know his mind, I realized what a wonderful creation of God am I dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
The spirit, the unquestioned loyalty. I've often told my civilian colleagues, it's all very well to say, patriotism. But here are people who are just willing to walk into the jaws of death with no questions asked. I often ask my friends, will your sons and daughters do it for you? No. Here are a band of people without any, they don't want any awards, they don't want any recognition. They're so selfless, actually. Being with such selfless people, it's infectious. You become like that. In the Indian Army, why is it different from other armies? A lot of people say there is a hierarchy, there is a lot of rank structure. Those are people who are very superficial in their understanding of the Indian Army. In the Indian Army, and I belong to the fighting arm. I'm an infantry soldier. There are various components of the Indian Army because the Indian Army is a microcosm actually. It has everything, every profession which is there in this universe. Everything is there in the Indian Army. I mean, starting from a basic marksman to any specialized doctor or engineer, you name it, and we have them. So I belong to the fighting component, the infantry. And the infantry soldier is the absolute paragon of virtue. The years spent with him, the smell of that soldier,
mm-hmm.
the smile of that soldier is something. I always used to thank you all, God Almighty. Thank you for giving me this chance to spend so many years with such wonderful people. He is absolutely selfless. He cares for nothing. His demands are so little. And just being with them makes you like them. And becoming like them is a very, very big achievement. And 40 years of my life I've spent with the best soldiers in the world. I've interacted with foreign army generals and all. I've only told them India doesn't care about technology so much. India prides itself in the minds and spirits of the soldiers, which cannot be copied anywhere. It's only to us. And we are privileged that we have it in India. So that is what Indian Army soldier is. His whole life is all about serving and asking for nothing. He looks at his officer who can do no wrong. It's such a heavy responsibility, actually, because after all, we are also human beings.
Right, sir.
We are prone to anger. We may be prone to other failings of a human body, a human mind. We are also. But then this Damocles sword which hangs on our head, what will my soldier think of me? If I do something which is unofficer-like, I'll break his heart. And this fear actually keeps us all at a very higher standard of ethics, values, and the attributes we display. One of the factors is this: I cannot break his heart. I've retired from the army more than 3.5 years back. I just can't even imagine if I do something or say something and the word goes back to the people I've served with. I'll be a very unhappy man. And this is not about me only. This is the story of all my colleagues, whether they be generals, colonels, or brigadiers, or whatever they are. For an infantry soldier, it is such a privilege, such a proud moment. And maybe if we have time, I'll give you some anecdotes which I have had with them. I've cried so often. What have I done? Why have I got this moments with these people? And do I really deserve what they think about me? Because after all, I don't have. There is not much difference. But it is the image they create and the image I try to live up to, which sets up this metric, the officer-soldier metric. I don't know, Rajesh, whether I could convey my feelings because I'm getting very.
Sir, it will actually be nice if you could share one or two anecdotes, because I think we would probably, as civilians, understand that feeling, that camaraderie that is there between the soldiers. Maybe even one anecdote of your team. Right today, as you rightly said, even after 3.5 years, I'm sure you are knit with your team and they look up to you. How does this camaraderie really, and it probably works the best on the battlefield when it is that way. So maybe even one anecdote would be great if you could share, sir. We'll be honored.
No, Rajesh, I'll give two anecdotes. One is a very basic anecdote, but it requires a very high spiritual mind to maybe understand it, fathom it. And one, I'll give you a small incident during operations. The first one is the personal relationship. Many years back, when I was a young officer in Rajasthan, I had a problem with MBBS. And one thing my parents taught us was dignity of labor, do everything yourself. Especially my mother and my father were very particular. There was no menial jobs. Either it was our job or it was nobody's job. We were brought up in an environment where we washed our undergarments, washed our socks, cleaned the floor, washed the vessels, did everything. There was nothing of a boy and a girl. More of it just later, because when we talk about gender equality, these are the factors which ensure gender equality. It's not in a classroom, it's not by reading, it's by doing. That's a separate issue which I will come to. So I was to give a stool test. So those days, I don't now call high tech, we used to, the stool had to be put in a matchbox. And I don't want to go to the further issue. After which I did all of it, then I put that matchbox. And I told my helper, my buddy, that he said, "What is this?" I said, "You don't have to get involved with it. I'll manage." And I got such a shouting from him. He said, "You tell me I'm your brother. I don't think you're a truthful man."
Oh my God.
If I was your brother, would you stop me from handling that little packet? I really didn't know what to say. Yes, no, cry, laugh. I just hugged him, and it's a small story, but this is the story of relationships. So this is it's a very small physical story between a buddy and an officer. The second story is many years later, 20 years later, I had the privilege to command my unit. I don't know whether many people understand. The infantry, you get commissioned into a unit, and if you're lucky enough, then you get the privilege to command that unit.
Okay.
Which is the biggest honor an army officer can get. Because he knows everybody. They've seen you when you were a young fellow lieutenant. and everybody has grown along. So it's like being a head of a family, nominated head of a family. We were in Operation Hifazat in Manipur, and this is the year 1990. That's what now, maybe 30 years back.
30 years back.
So we were in Manipur in the thick of the jungles, and all my companies had spread out. We had got some information about some insurgents. And so the companies, because of the components of the battalion, they had spread out. And I, with my 20-odd people who were protecting me, we also went along on a particular trail. And the desire to, have success in operations, to get hold of these anti-national elements. And we are young and bubbling, and there's nothing called fear. Those are romantic days. So we were along a small trail, and suddenly we came under very heavy fire, automatic fire. And you won't believe what happened. 3 people just stood in front of me.
Oh.
And I was just a sense of shock. I said, what is going on? Anyway, whatever we had to do, we did. I won't delve into those things. Later that night, since we had not planned for a long operation, we had nothing to we hadn't bought our bedding, etc., our blankets and our rolls, which we carry operationally. I was lying down along. I kept crying that day. I said, what sort of army is this? Without even a thought, 3 people come and stand in front of you, willing to give their lives for a person. I mean, he's not related to them. It's something which has remained with me, that one is instinctive and one is being prodded. And this is instinctive. The moment the rattle of the automatic fire started, it just covered me up. And these are the images which I carry with me. These stories may mean nothing to many people, but to me it means a lot, because I do believe, what do you carry from this world? Nothing. You just carry, you carry your honor, you carry the impact you leave behind. Otherwise, there's nothing to take, there's nothing to leave. These are 2 random incidents. One was to do with operations in the. I'm just trying to, give an insight into the mind of the Indian Army soldier. And the second one was about physical, the type of bonding we have in the Indian Army. And I wish I conveyed what I wanted to, Rajesh.
Yes, sir. I mean, as I listen to you, I'm having goosebumps. Actually, I know probably there are many more incidents, but just these 2 incidents conveys so much about the readiness that the soldiers are into, and as you rightly said, ready to give up life at any point in time for the protection of in service of others. And you said one very important thing. What are we really going to take from here other than honor? And I'm speechless to sort of even listen to these anecdotes. I'm very sure if I speak to you more, I will be listening to many anecdotes, which it's probably 40 years. They'll be filled with such moments of maybe I can also sense the amount of gratitude you are effusing when you are speaking, sir. I sort of also, along with all of this, you got people around, the soldiers around, and you command, and you're going in the one of the operations which all of us were witness of. We probably, as civilians, we do not probably see most of the things that the Indian Army is doing, which is away from our site, right in the borders and all that. One of the things that shook the entire country was, of course, the Mumbai terror attacks, and deeply left an impact. Everybody were wanting to sort of know what's going on there, and how is it that we got attacked and things like that, sir. And you were the sub-area commander during the Mumbai terror attacks. So could you, could you share with us the moments that you lived through during the Mumbai terror attacks, and you as the commander of the sub-area, and give us a glimpse through your eyes, sir, actually how exactly we handled that situation, and I'm sure there will be a lot for us to be inspired about with our Indian Army, sir.
Rajesh, this is something I've never spoken to anyone about, because it's a very contentious subject. A lot has been written on it. There have been movies made on it. I just saw a program the other day by a government official. He was so pompously about this incident. Now, I happen to have had the privilege to be part of it from the time it started, and the time it finished. I know a lot of things. Some of it I can say, some of it which my professional ethics hold me back. I'll just try and put that much which would, which should not hurt anyone. I'll just tell you, the Bombay Siberia Command, I was a young brigadier that time, and commanding the Siberia with my headquarters in Colaba. And that particular night, around 10 o'clock, I was informed that there are gunshots being heard, and reports started trickling in. So my first action was, Bombay is otherwise known for its gang war and all the dons and wives and all. So I thought maybe this is what is happening. And then I got a call from a very senior IS officer that he/she is stranded in the Taj. Can you do something about it? And the calls started pouring in. Now, subsequently, what did I do? With whatever people we had, we cordoned off the areas which we thought was where these people had come. But now, what is the modus operandi these terrorists did? There were only 10 of them. But they did it smartly. They landed in a fisherman's colony which has got hustle bustle 24 hours. They got down from their dinghies. They got into 4 taxis, went into 4 directions, and in each taxi they put some IEDs, explosive devices with timers. So what happened then? So a 4 group of people went into 4 areas. The 4 taxis went into their rest areas wherever it was. In the middle of the night, the whole of Bombay had explosions. We thought, it's all well to sit in hindsight, talk about it. I really thought that the entire Bombay is under attack. Because I got a report explosion from here, there. And what are the things which happened? Paralysis. We all are trained for good times. And when bad time happens, paralysis occurs. All the brilliant fellows who otherwise talk well, all the guys who can, there's absolute no movement. I'm shocked. A few people, so what did I do? And I must say this because I first thought I would write a book on this. And subsequently, my personal events in my life, and then I gave it up. I said, why should I walk into a quagmire of controversy? Because every man has his own perspective of events. Everybody wants to blow his own trumpet. But I must tell you we have only one battalion located in Bombay. I immediately, whatever number of people we had, we cordoned off the main areas, that is the Taj, the Oberoi, the center Chabad, and we sent whatever vehicles we can with no people, because there were no people, along both the eastern and eastern highways. Those who've been to Bombay know it. On the east side of the city and the west side, there are roads running along. So that there would be a show of force. No one has ever spoken about all of it. I've never even heard these, because the army never talks about what it did. And it's only around midnight we came to know what actually has happened, because by then the things had stabilized. The people who had to go into Taj had got into Taj. The people who had to go into Oberoi were there. There were 2 chaps in Chabad House, and the 2 people out of which one was, of course, this Kazakh fellow who was later shot on the Marine Drive. And then what happened? A lot of people asked me, what did you do with your battalion? Why don't you knock them off? These are people, I have nothing to say to them. Anyone who's been to the Taj Hotel, 400 rooms, just to get into that labyrinth and maze of rooms will take 1 week. Nobody has a blueprint of the layout of that hotel. And so it's all very well to sit and talk later. Why didn't this happen? Why couldn't this happen? And but I must tell you that band of my unit, the Grenadier unit which is deployed there, no one has ever spoken about it. The role that unit did is something which someday must be told, because neither the commanding officer has spoken about it. Me, as a Siberia commander today, you've asked me, so I'm talking about it. It's one part of the story which has not been ever mentioned also, that there was the Indian Army unit which did whatever it did. And so what are my lessons, takeaways from this incident? One, we have to have emergency response training. We all are trained to work in good situations. We are not trained to work in bad situations. I'm talking right up from the highest level of governance to the lowest. There was no shortage of AK weapons. I've heard that the policemen didn't have it. It was just not released in time.
Okay.
There was no shortage of policemen in Bombay. Actually speaking, it's a lesson for us to learn, not to glorify whatever happened, but to learn what were the faults and how do we remedy. And so that is why one of the issues we need to train ourselves is emergency response training. What do we do when things go horribly wrong? It's all very well, management mantras and books and whatever you have. Good times. Good times requires no management.
Right, sir.
Good times manage themselves. It's the bad times which require management. It's the bad times that the true leaders emerge. Somebody asked me, after that there used to be a series of seminars and I used to be called Brigadier Mathews, would you come and speak to us? And I said, they used to say, how can this situation be averted? My answer was, Bombay has about some 60,000 soldiers, policemen. I said, we can have 50 million policemen, the situation will happen if the way we behave as Indians continue. And what is the way we behave? If something goes wrong somewhere, close the door, put off the light. Nothing should happen to me. We don't care what happens to the neighbor. Right. I said till each of Bombaikars become policemen. This incident will keep on happening in some form at some time. And these are not easy statements to absorb, to hear. We always want somebody else to do something for us. The government should do something. The police should do something. You tell me, if 10 people knew that at every stage of their journey they're going to be stopped, they're going to be asked, what are you doing? Because I'm telling you, they landed in a place where there is hustle and bustle 24 hours. There are fishermen there. Now these people came in jeans with backpacks. They came in dinghies. The dinghies were let to float. Now, won't it strike a normal person? This is not normal what is happening. Why are they coming here? And who will leave a boat just like that? Nobody's bothered. As long as they don't attack me, they get into the four taxis. He's not bothered. Why is in the middle of the night? Who are these funny looking fellows? What are they carrying in their backpacks? They are having unhindered passage right through. As long as this type of apathy exists in our country, we're going to keep getting hit. I mean, this is the sad lesson from here. We all have to live for each other. Rajesh, what you are doing, what Kala Madam is doing, what Mike is doing, we've got to learn to live for each other. We've got to learn to suffer for each other. We've got to learn to sacrifice something, and then only can we live as wonderful human beings. This is the lesson of Bombay, which I wish to espouse. I hope this is understood, because otherwise, so many people died. How many people died in Bombay? 400, 500 people died. A couple of soldiers died. That wonderful, handsome officer died. They all died in vain because nothing has happened. We as a community have not learned. We want to strengthen this Coast Guard. We want to strengthen our surveillance system. Well, that's one component of surveillance. 80% of surveillance in society is the citizen of India. And the day we all become surveillance centers, believe me, crime will be reduced by at least 90%.
So rightly said, sir. In fact, some of the things that you spoke, one sentence that you said hit the nail. Good times is going to take care of themselves. We really got to be prepared to handle bad times, specifically emergencies that you spoke about. A lot of takeaways, and I'm going to make a personal request, or probably a request on behalf of all our viewers, all the civilians, if you can take it that way, that please don't drop the idea of if you had thought about writing a book out of it. I think it's going to have a lot of gems to learn out of, and you please do not drop it. And we would love to see you write that book and get hold of that book to understand some of these aspects much better, sir. So I'm going to place that as a personal request to you to sort of write the book and not drop that idea. I have a question here, sir, from Ms. Kala. The soldiers, I'm reading it out from the FB Live. The soldiers live in a totally different world filled with selflessness, patriotism, etc., protecting us at the cost of their lives. Is it easy for the soldiers to relate to the civilians' lifestyle and regular life? Question mark. Once you are out of the army, is it easy to settle into civilian life? That's the question that has come from Ms. Kala.
Hello, madam. I'll answer both the questions. One is about the soldier's attitude. In fact, primarily the Indian Army soldier is from rural areas. And it's the values of the village which he brings into the army, and the bonding, the standard of ethics, models, and all in villages are very, very high. Somehow we just overlook it. Family honor. Now it can go into a negative spin also, but taken positively, honor, duty, courage, nishan. These are all very binding factors, and this is what he brings in. Now, funny thing is, in the Indian Army, we have a system of regiments. I was commissioned in the Kumar regiment, and I must place on record the most decorated regiment in the Indian Army. The first Paramveer Chakra, Major Somnath Sharma. The greatest warrior which has walked this earth for the universe is Major Shaitan Singh, the hero of Rizangla. And I can carry on and on, but that will be incorrect. So what happens is, in the unit, he's trying up to ensure that his family name is not tarnished. In the village, he's living up with the hope that what I do here should not tarnish my the image of my unit, because that's his second mother. And I didn't say second father, second mother. So, this little dynamic interplay works to ensure that the soldier remembers and links up with what is happening back home. And both ways, we are gainers both ways. The second part, what does the soldier give back to society? It's exactly what I'm doing now presently. Well, this now is a formal job I'm doing, but otherwise, one of the things in service seva is don't talk about it. So that restricts. There are innumerable ways you can serve this country. Some of it is visible, some is not visible. Some may not be visible today, may be visible after 5 years. Most of us spend our time in paying back, and especially me. I reached a rank, a lieutenant general, a very high rank in the army. I know I wasn't the best. I know I wasn't the most competent. I just know that God was kind to me. The circumstances helped me, and I reached where I had to. So I have to pay back this debt, and I need 100 lives to pay back this debt. Unfortunately, 5-6 years back, when we lost my only son, my life came crashing down, and I felt I was commanding a very high-level formation. The corps is a very high formation in the Indian Army. I rang up the chief of the army staff, and I said I would like to leave because I would not be able to do justice to the 60,000-70,000 soldiers I'm commanding, and I don't want my sorrow to permeate into the ranks of my wonderful corps which I commanded. And what he told me, which I cannot narrate back, of course, it would be wrong because it's a conversation between two people. He said, this is an opportunity of God. To do so many things which otherwise nobody gets an opportunity. Very few get an opportunity. So don't look at it as a personal tragedy. It's a personal tragedy. Use it as a method of, as a means to do even more, become more puzzle, to use a Hindi word. And even after I've retired, I have at least half a dozen soldiers who come in. Chennai is for a North Indian army, but bulk of our soldiers are from the north. I have so many people coming and visiting me. I just can't tell you what it is. I just keep thanking God for His blessings. And this is not my story. This is the story of every officer of the Indian Army. It's something which we all don't talk about. It's what gives us, like we put a 100-feet flag in the Officers Training Academy. And we've embraced, put something on the plaque. What does that plaque say? This flag does flutter because of the breeze. It flutters because of the last breath of every soldier who gave his life for this country. These are all wonderful things. Now fools might say, well, these are words, how does it matter? To them I say, you are the fools. Before being judgmental on others, you look inwards. Because every man sees life from his prism. So before you call us fools, look inwards and you may know who the real fool is. Life is all about Niswart Seva, which is what selfless service. This is what Rajesh is doing. This is what Color Madam is doing. This is what Mike is doing. You're doing something with no return. You're doing seva in its noblest and pristine form. मुझे कुछ नहीं मिलेगा इसमें. What is Rajesh and what is Color? What is Mike going to get out of it? Nothing. Every life saved. Because what is taught to a soldier? Today's theme was serve with honor.
Right, sir.
And what is honor? You're trained to take lives and you're trained to save lives. It's an oxymoron. It's a paradox.
Right.
I take the life of my enemy and I have to ensure that I save as many lives as I can.
Right.
And even the enemy's life, once he puts down his weapon, his safety is my responsibility.
Wow.
Life in the army is all about honor, and today's theme, what Rajesh told me, serve with honor. Honor is that binding thread which keeps the Indian army together. And honor should be the binding thread which keeps families together. Honor should be the binding thread which glues the country together. Because from honor flows everything else.
Right, sir.
Know, Rajesh, I get carried away.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I mean, it's honestly, I'm very sure I am having goosebumps listening to you, and I'm very sure viewers are having goosebumps listening to you. And I was myself actually going to, ask you, I think you touched upon it, sir. The personal tragedy. We as people, who sort of in this space of saving lives, we just want to offer our respects to Rohit, your son. And it's such an amazing thing, in spite of from what you narrated to us now, that in the midst of your personal tragedy, you still went on to serve. And how can we ever repay this, sir? How can we ever, we even express our gratitude for you standing through this and still continuing to serve our country. From heartfelt gratitude from all of us to you, to have faced that situation. And I have really, I just want to say that our respects to you and your son Rohit. I watched his videos. I watched his beautiful singing he does. And thanks to YouTube, that his voice is still there for all of us to listen to. So, sir, since you also mentioned about it, I wanted to say that I will even go one step ahead and say, sir, we are all, there are so many sons that you have got here in our form. Sir, just to sort of even have that memory of the beautiful singing your son used to do. Is there one or two lines that stood out, in your heart? I'm very sure. Beautifully he used to sing. So if you want to, let's together join you and pay this tribute to your son at this moment, sir. If you are okay with it.
No, Rajesh, you're such a vibrant guy. Your smile makes me so happy. How do you cope with tragedy?
Right, sir.
If I could just explain this, because this is also part of our lives. Only the wearer knows where the shoe pinches. And I'm telling you this, such losses, time does not diminish it. It only enhances the loss. But how do you cope with it? One way is to carry on, grumbling, cursing. That's one way to live your life. And second is to thank God for the wonderful years that you've got with the person you have lost. My son passed away when he was 29. I have to share this with all my viewers. Every 29 years, 24/7, we were hugging, kissing, talking. I've met so many people, the children don't even speak to their parents. So I know I got 29 years of 24/7 presence. It's something which, so it's how you deal with loss, with tragedy. So you may live 100 years and yet have no connect. You may live just for a few years and have the best bonding in your life. So that much for my loss. But I'd like to give a story connected with this. So we had a very important exercise going when this happened. And after my essential ceremonies, which as per my faith, I rejoined my duties. So when I rejoined my boss, that is the Southern Army commander, came in his aircraft to basically pay condolences. And I was standing in the airport, in the military Air Force station to receive him. He was quite dumbstruck. He said, I have come to you, I'm coming to your house to pay condolences. I said, so there are two different roles. Me as the GOC of Formation, 12 Corps, and second is father of Rohit Mathews, who's no longer with us. We cannot mix up these two duties. Both are separate. And I must say that much to my general who was the army commander. His eyes were moist because maybe he understood what I was trying to say. We've got to understand our roles, our duties. My son was a tremendous singer. He loved, he wonderful chap. Whatever he did well. So I don't know if I sing two lines, he's going to cry from heaven. But I'll just sing two lines. I've never done it.
Please do, sir. I mean, we will join you in this tribute to your wonderful son.
एहसान तेरा होगा मुझ पर दिल चाहता है वो कहने दो मुझे तुमसे मोहब्बत हो गई है मुझे पलकों के छाँव में रहने दो एहसान तेरा होगा मुझ पर.
So nice, so nice, so nice, sir. I'm very, very sure Rohit is listening to this, and he's had a wonderful father in you. Just as much as we have had a great soldier in you protecting this nation. So thank you for sharing this with us, sir. We'll never forget this, and all respects and love to Rohit, and equal respects and love to you, sir. And this is a very, very important message that you gave, how to deal with tragedy, and one could convert that into a positivity and still continue marching ahead to serve with honor. And you, as you rightly said, people can live for 100 years but still not be connected, right? But even if you live for a shorter number of years, feeling that connection and sharing the love and joy, what more does one need to do in life? So beautiful, sir. I'm very, very indebted to you for even sharing some of your personal thoughts with all of us this evening, which has made this program very, 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 very enriching. Sir, one point I would want to go back to in what you spoke. You spoke something very significant. As a soldier, when you actually go, you actually take away the life of a person, but at the same time, under your saving that person is also your responsibility. Right, but because you're doing that in the saving so many other lives that you are responsible for. In fact, sir, I would like to share with you one conversation that I have had with the former president, Dr. Kalam, and I asked him this question, and I would like to probably ask the same question to you because you've been there, you've been there in the middle of the battlefield. So I asked him when India became a nuclear state, so I asked him, sir, India is such a peace-loving nation. It is a nation that stands for non-violence, peace, and brotherhood of man and fatherhood of God. But at the same time, we are marching ahead in building our strength. In sort of building our army's strength. We become a nuclear state and all that. So you rightly said this contradiction. So I asked him that question. So can you explain to us this dichotomy of where we are, and we are always voicing our our message to the world is peace and non-violence. So he made a statement, sir, and I want to ask for your comment on it. He said that forever, India will always be an advocate of peace and non-violence. But when you do that from the, but we need to do that from a position of strength, and that is why we are needing to be, building our strength so that the world listens to what peace is and listens to our advocacy of peace. So, sir, you've been there, and also in the next 10 years, as the country is growing. We are going to be adding more strength and might. At the same time, we are advocating peace and non-violence. So what is your addition to this statement that Dr. Kalam gave us an answer, sir?
Rajesh, you put me in a very, very difficult and tight situation. Such a great man, and who am I to comment on it? But anyway, I shall take the liberty just to clarify what President Kalam said. The prime prerequisite of security is a strong security apparatus. Mm-hmm. If you want meaningful in this comity of nations, you have to be strong. To be strong economically, you have to be strong militarily. These are all apparently paradoxical issues which I am referring to, but actually they are congruent.
Right, sir.
History has taught us only one thing. Strong nations are strong not because of economics. Strong nations are strong because of the power to influence other nations. And you influence other nations not by attacking them. You influence other nations by the capability to do it. There's a difference between doing it and having the inherent capability to do it. That in military terminology is known as threat in being. So everyone should know that here is a sleeping tiger. Don't finger around with him. If you do so, the consequences will be horrendous. So exactly to take what I was going to say, General Kalam, President Kalam said, if you want to be a powerful nation, because powerful nation is not only economics.
Right.
It's a whole mix of many things. A powerful nation, economics is one part, military is one part, culture is one part, social strength is one part, and strength is a very complex. I mean, you require a whole period of at least 1 hour to discuss it. But a very important component of this is a strong army, a strong and credible army. And I've heard many people often ask me, very educated people, what a waste of money, what are we doing? I don't say anything because I told you one of the issues in life is every man is the best judge, we leave judgment to him. It's a personal issue. I have no business to influence your judgment by my words. I have business to influence your judgment by my action. So why should I say no, the army is required? I've heard many educated people saying, what a waste of money. Why are we buying Rafale jets? With one Rafale jet, you can have 20 primary health centers. I mean, there are no answers for this. I mean, what answer can I give? But then a person who has studied history, like you said, scholar, and I don't mean scholar by degree, scholar by understanding world events. This answer, this is a question which requires no answer. I've heard this. Why are we buying a Rafale? It costs so many thousand crores. You can have a hospital. To have a hospital, you need the capability, you need the deterrence. So it's one thing, it's a chicken and egg issue. To have one, you need two. Now you say, do you need two to have one? Well, there is no answer to. You need one, you need two. And need two, you need one. So everything it's a metrics. It's a system which you can't remove anything from anything. And I'm telling you, a strong military. It's not only about security. It's about having a set of people whose standards are higher than the average person.
Right.
It is something which payback is not in physical terms. The payback is in intangible ways.
Right.
So I'll leave my point on this, and only one little deviation from what President Kalam has given you in your mission. Train one in every family to save a life.
Right, sir.
I would like to take it to the next level. We have to train everybody to save lives, because we don't know, because the fellow we train may not be the person there that time.
Correct.
Our endeavor, because I keep saying General Kalam, President Kalam's vision at that time, today our vision should be train as many people as we can, because we don't know who's the person who's going to need it. We do not know who's the person who's going to be in the proximity of that person. Our effort should be give basic minimum knowledge to everybody so that lives saved, and there's nothing more precious in the world than human life. No money, no nothing. It is just priceless.
So I was going to come to that, sir, with what we are doing into this thing about saving lives, and I honestly feel that there's many things that I think our responders, people who got trained and who are in readiness to respond to a given situation, even if they are, there are some parts of the spirit of a soldier that needs to be imbibed by all the responders, people who have learned first aid and who are in readiness to help somebody when they are in their emergency situations. So what would be your overall, like, the message, or what part of a soldier can we imbibe as first responders? What would be your message for that? And Alert as an organization has been focusing on this, sir. Your sort of advice, vision as to where this country needs to go to be having the capability of saving more lives.
Yes, very difficult question to answer, but I'll just tell you what spirit of a soldier can move into your sphere of work. Whatever we do should actually give us joy.
Right.
The work we are doing should give you happiness. Until that happens, no amount of first aid or second aid or anything, first responder, second responder. So we got to make it part of our zen. We got to make it part of our inner self. And I am doing this for myself. I'm not doing savor in that sense. I'm saving lives because it gives me joy. And if you imbibe this spirit, why am I doing what I'm doing? Because it gives me joy. A lot of people ask me, you're an old man, 63-year-old fellow, why do you do such? I don't answer that question. I do it because it makes me happy. Finally, why are most of us unhappy in what work we do? I've met very qualified fellows. Yeah, actually, my parents got me into IIT. I wanted to be a professor in English. And this is an issue in India which needs to be addressed. Are we all doing what we love? Because that is why a doctor who loves medicine will never say, I'm tired. He'll never say that it's 5 o'clock, I have to leave. Because he loves what he's doing. But if you put a doctor who's not doing what he wants to, because his parents wanted it, society wanted it, he said, now 6 o'clock I should leave. I think, or a teacher or anybody else. But you take it for a person who does it as something which is giving him joy. He'll keep doing it 24 hours.
Right.
He'll keep doing till he collapses. Right. This is the spirit we need in our first responders. Whatever you do from your heart, with no recognition in mind, and do it for yourself, not for the person you're saving. This is the spirit of the soldier. This is the spirit which should get into each and every first responder, which your wonderful organization is doing. I don't know, did I make any sense, Rajesh?
Oh, absolutely, sir. This coming from you means a lot, and I think this coming from you, to all our volunteers, to all the first responders whom we are training, we can give them, we can give all the knowledge, the skill, and all that is required. But spirit is something that it has to be imbibed, and it is something some of the things that you spoke about, selfless service of not really expecting anything in return. The sheer joy of your act was responsible to save a life at the end of the day. That's the reward of what you really prepared yourself for, and that the soldier is doing it day in and day out in front of our eyes. And I think there's no other school or no other institution is really required to learn that from, apart from looking at our armed forces. What's given them that might, what's given them the will to go to serve so selflessly. So sir, it was any other message that you want to share with us, any signing up thoughts to all of our viewers, volunteers, even for our country, as for that matter, all the civilians, right? So in fact, I was going to ask you, even if all of us mooted an idea that every citizen of this country should spend at least 6 months in the army to understand some of these ideals, some of these things, and even get a glimpse of what some of these ideals are. Not sure whether how many people will support this idea. I'm not sure whether you will support this idea, but anything that you want to share, sir, with all of us.
Rajesh, before I come to that, I just want to have a small humble suggestion to your organization.
Sure, sir.
While we are training people to save lives, another important aspect we need to look into is to train people to deal with emergency situations which will lead to people losing their lives.
Right, sir.
Because one is directly saving a person who is dying, and second is responding with alacrity in a situation which can lead to loss of life. So I will spend time with you separately on this if you are inclined for the same, because these are very simple things. Suppose there's a fire in a building. How can you ensure that it doesn't spread? Because after all, if it spreads, so many people will die.
Right.
Suppose a child is with an instrument which can cause harm to the child. So how do you go about it? I can carry on. The list is endless. so you're trapped in a room.
Right.
And such like situations which happen to us all the time.
All the time.
And if you're not in for it, you don't know what to do.
Right.
So these are also issues which you would look at. So one is life-saving and one is training in emergency situations, to respond in emergency situations. So is an issue you could look at. I would just like to, this is my favorite quote, which sums up a soldier's life. And I'll just like to read that out actually.
Sure, sir.
These are the words of Horatius, the Roman warrior, who defended the bridge on the river Tiber, 6th century BC. It's a little poem. I'll just read it out. It's so beautiful. I won't read the whole thing. I'll just read the first and the last word.
Sure, sir.
It says, "To every man upon this earth, death comes sooner or later. But how can man die better than facing fearful odds for the ashes of his fathers and the temples of his gods?" It's such a tremendous 4 lines.
Beautiful, sir.
And just narrating it makes my hair stand. I want to thank all my viewers for listening to an old soldier, ranting and raving about his little experiences in life. And I request each one of you, God's given each one of us the ability and the capability to make a difference. Let's all make it. Let's not wait for others to do anything, because always we are looking for others to. Why isn't the government doing this? Why is the municipality not doing it? Why is the corporation not doing it? Why is the chief minister not doing it? My question is, what are you doing about it? You do something, and all of us do something, and a lot of things will happen. So this should be the message on this Independence Day. Let us as a group, under the inspiration of Rajesh, Mike, Kala Madam, and such wonderful people who want to transform society. Let's all take a vow today on this Independence Day. Let us do our bit, and in doing so, we will do a lot for this country. Lots of love, lots of respect, lot of regard. Jai Hind, and God bless this great country, India.
Thank you so very much, sir. So much of, I feel so inspired. I'm very sure all our viewers taking away a lot to bed tonight, to mull over, digest, and make it part of themselves. Such a honor, privilege to have had you this evening, spend 1 hour, 60 precious minutes with all of us today. I'm really, some of the suggestions that you told, I would love to work with you, sir, to sort of understand probably even incorporate that into what Alert is doing in terms of overall emergency response management as well. So I, on behalf of myself, to Alert as an organization, even on behalf of all the civilians, to you, sir, huge respects and salutations for everything you have done for this great nation. Been there and ensured that you have played your role to the at best possible, and keep inspiring, sir. We look up to you. We will look up to you for life. Thank you so very much, sir.
Thank you, Rajesh. Thank you, Alert. Thank you. God bless everybody.
Thank you, sir. Dear viewers, friends, what an evening that was. Many places I actually choked, not really able to ask my questions back, because some of the anecdotes that were shared was very, very moving. And I think there's a lot to get inspired to take away from what Lieutenant General Bobby Mathews shared today. And the last thought that he shared is so precious, my dear friends. He said, ask not what the country does for you, ask what you have done for this country. Each one of us have a role to play so that we can make our society, our lives, everybody's life around better. So with that, once again, wishing you all a good evening, vanakkam, and a very happy Independence Day. Have a wonderful weekend ahead as well. Let's mull over all the thoughts that we heard today, go to bed, digest all of it. And this country deserves it, my dear friends. We deserve it, this country deserves it. Let us do everything that we can make this country even shine brighter than what it is today. So with that, I close. So look forward to meeting you all again in another session with another special guest. So thank you very much. Stay home, stay safe. Let's save lives.